There's one choice, one single decision that will almost ensure your own health and happiness. Science and research tells us that one choice should be to cultivate warm, loving relationships. So on this episode, we're going to explore relational health and maybe along the way, try to figure out who our people are. Welcome back to the Vitality Journey. So I'm laying on the gurney in the ER. Just been told that I've got 2 pulmonary embolisms. I got a blood clot in my leg. So my first question is, am I going to die?
Right. Right. Like, how much time do I have?
Yeah.
Right.
Am I going to survive?
Right.
And you know, they were, the doctors were sort of, they were very serious about it. At the same time, I think trying not to get me too freaked out. But that was, it really was probably the most sick I'd ever been. It was the most dangerous circumstance. Anyway, we've talked about that, and I'm almost getting tired of talking about that situation. But there was a second question that hit me, that surprised me. As I'm sitting there, waiting for the next move, I was going to be admitted. Here's a question across my mind. Who do I tell?
Who do you tell?
Like, who do I text? Who do I call? In days past, I would have called my mom and dad, right?
Sure, right. Right.
So, and we have a very small family. So the only, other than my immediate family, the only other person to tell was my sister. And of course, Penny was there, and I knew I had to tell the kids. But after that, who are my people?
Right.
Who do I want to know what's going on with me, and who do I think should know what's going on with me? Because it's fascinating to me that nothing else mattered other than 2 things: my next breath and my relationships.
Right.
Have you ever been in a situation like that where you've been wondering who are my people?
Yeah, I have. And, it's to your point, it's who do I tell, and the aftermath. Because after you tell them, there's something they're going to do back, right? There's a behavior, there's a value that they can contribute or add to that particular scenario. And do I have the bandwidth for that? Is this the right person to tell? And it's like, do I tell them a little later when it's the problem is more resolved?
Yeah.
All of that, absolutely. And it's like, it's your most vulnerable position, right?
Yeah,
you're at your weakest point where, hey, you might not be here. And so the next person you tell almost is like your gatekeeper, your taskmaster thereafter, right? Are they going to be able to continue some part of this journey or close out a few of these loops for me?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, okay, who do I know will pray for me? Who do I know will show up?
Right.
Who will help Penny through this time because she's going to need some. Who are my people? It really
sobering.
It was sobering to me. Well, in a minute, I'll talk about this, the research on relationships, how crucial relationships are. But I was sitting there going, this is important to me.
Right.
Relationships are important. Now, interesting, the stats are a little bit alarming. Some people, have you heard this? Some people are saying that we're in right now a friendship recession.
I have heard that. I have.
Yeah. So they say it comes from the decline of trust, waning of social capital.
Right.
People and they're more lonely. Research several decades ago, the average number of close friends in America, this was decades ago, if you ask an American how many close friends you had, the average number was 3.
Wow.
3 close friends. But listen to this. Today, the most common answer to the question, how many close friends do you have, is none.
That's insane.
That's the most common answer. I don't have any friends. More Americans will say they have no close friends than any other option.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And question for you, just real quick. I mean, going back to who you tell first, now you're a man that has led tens of thousands of people. You have interacted with tens of thousands of people, and still yet you had to go through this list of who and what and when.
Yeah, well, file this away because we're going to come back to this.
Okay.
And this Arthur Brooks is a professor at Harvard, and he talks about happiness and societal health. he raised the question. I was listening to a podcast. He raised this question: how many deal relationships do you have versus real relationships? We'll come back to that in a minute because I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was in an organization with thousands of people around me, but most of them were deal relationships.
Highly transactional.
Yeah. We'll come back to that. But and honestly, when I retired from that was one of the hardest things for me. Because looking around, who are my people? Who are the real relationships in my life? And it all came right to that moment sitting in the ER. It all came to bear when I said, who do I tell that I'm in this physically compromised position? United States, this was several years ago, a study suggested that 3 out of 4 adults feel moderate to high levels of loneliness every day. 3 out of 4 adults. So you have people saying, the majority of people say, I have no close friends. That's the answer they choose more often. And everyone's saying, I'm lonely.
Right. Wow.
So I want to ask the question, why is that happening in a minute? And let's just muse on that.
Sure.
But here's the contrast. In my opening statement, I said that science, research, indicates that the most important decision you can make is to develop cultivate warm relationships. This is based on Harvard University did a study starting in 1938.
Wow.
So what is it? We're approaching 90 years.
Right.
This is the longest. It's called the Harvard Study on Adult Development. So it's the longest longitudinal study on happiness and well-being that's ever been done.
Wow.
They have studied 724 people over 85 years, and they discovered, with all this research, that the biggest predictor of happiness is the quantity and quality of our relationships.
Fascinating.
So, I mean, we call this the vitality journey, and Destinyworks, we exist to help people figure out vitality. We could like end this thing right now and just say, there is one thing you need to do.
Right.
Forget physical health, forget
just get some friends.
forget emotional health, just have a friend.
Right.
Now, I'm overstating it.
Sure.
Why is it that in your opinion, why is it that friendship is so crucial and yet it is so missing? What's happened?
Well, I think what's happening is people are creating and forming relationships with identities, not people. And we see this with fallen celebrities, right? And people, we've had roles. When I was on the street, I was a father and a husband. And then when we had a break in our marriage, I wasn't a father and I wasn't a husband. I didn't know what to do with myself. When you retired from being a pastor, the role is gone.
You're right. You don't know what.
You're just sitting
when that
there.
identity is shifting.
People had a relationship with the identity of you, right? That proxy of you, but not you. That's why when your state changed, they weren't there. They weren't available to you. So I think a lot of that's happening, and with that, so I think that's happening, and the way we self-identify is from this very external position, right? It's based on roles or skills or economy or position and posture.
So let me ask you this: do you think? I mean, from 2007 to 2016, a fundamental shift came in the way people saw themselves, because in 2007 the iPhone came into existence, and by 2016, 80% of the people in the world or in the United States, I should say, had smartphones.
That's right.
By 2016, 80% of smartphones. So my question is, it's not just the smartphone. It is the access, the instant access to everything.
It is, and I would still kind of stand on this identity. So
that's what,
in that context, like there's a digital version of you that the iPhone, the algorithms, and all the stuff is interacting with. There's a digital profile of you. And so all the ads you see, all the commercials you see, that's based on that digital presentation of you, not the real you. That relationship is to your identity, and it's not to the real you. And so again, as your identity changes, as your role changes, those things will wane.
So so the idea, the connection between identity and relationships is if I'm cultivating identity, I have to curate my relationships.
Right.
Right?
Well, and there's a version of you in real life that can't translate into digital world. So back to your contrast between 1930s and now.
Yeah.
There was no proxy. It was you. You saw me. We're talking. You're looking at me. You can smell
Okay.
me. Right. We're tilling the farm. We're doing whatever. It's just us. Now we can kind of set this. We can curtail this, right? Or curate. Excuse me.
Interesting.
You can curate this version of us that we want to exist. When you go through someone's Instagram, it's the highlight reel. They're not showing you the days that they're sad or, well, they are. I mean, that's a whole nother thing,
Yeah,
right? But it's just this, you can curate. Again, you can pick and choose and post and then edit the video and add sound as to what you want people and how you want people to feel and interact with you. It doesn't necessarily reflect who you actually are.
So in some way, shape, or form, because you're investing so much time in developing the curated vision of you, you don't have time to develop the real relationships
That's right.
where you're just yourself. Okay.
That's what I think. And
Yeah.
this culture of, it's like we've commoditized relationships into swipe theory. I'm just leaning on my software world. Everything's a swipe. You swipe yes or you swipe no. And that transactional, I know you said wait till later. I almost can't, right? It's like we are so deal based. We're so transactional. What can I
Right.
get out of it? And once that's gone,
Right.
you just keep it pushing.
So here, let me throw out another thought. So I agree with you. I think that identity formation and a curated vision, that's hurting relationships.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. I think we like to cocoon. Something happened during COVID
Yeah.
that I'm not sure psychologically we have emerged from, and I don't think we're going to, where we were forced to cocoon, and something happened inside where now we prefer to cocoon.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do that. The idea, how many times has someone, and let me just be really honest, talk about myself. Somebody says, hey, you want to go do this? And I'm thinking, nah.
Rather be at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. I've been involved in a lot of things. And so we set aside relationships for whatever this feeling I have that I've got to protect whatever it is
Yeah.
who I am. That's one thing
Yeah.
I think that hurts relationships.
Yeah. I mean, and if I may, that example is great. I mean, we're in a constant state of high output. And so that moment, I don't want to deal with anyone. It's not personal. It's like any human. I just need a second, right? In my room, on my game, just whatever, to disconnect from that high output. And I think, to your point, COVID showed us and allowed us to not have to be such high output individuals. And you're like, man, this is weird. Money's weird, but man, I'm at peace. I picked up a new hobby. I've learned something about myself. I don't have to, I can be just as efficient at work and not have to be there. All that got realized during those times of being in.
Well, and on top of that, Hollywood gets a hold of this. And so what they do is they move away from the theater. So now you're just binge watching.
Right.
And you can just sit on your couch and take in your whole evening.
And you can escape.
You can escape. Here's another thought I had. I'm just going to make this up. Let's just pretend for a second that the only way I could have a relationship if I actually physically paid money for it. Okay, that's stupid. That wouldn't happen.
Sure.
But what if we look at the fact that money is actually secondary to time as a personal resource? In other words, people are more protective of their time than they are their money.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
to have a relationship, it costs you time.
It's very fascinating you say that. I would also offer too, a real life relationship requires risk.
Yep.
The same risk that does not exist in a curated digital proxy of you.
Right.
The transactional framework of a relationship, there's no risk required because it's like once my need is satisfied or not, we just keep it pushing, right? There's no risk. There's high risk. Man, it's awkward. You might like the way I smell. I might have said something fun, not appropriate. It's like all those things. That's risky, right?
Yeah.
To be seen in that way. And man, you're right. If I can just hide behind the idea of time and money, I don't have time. Well, I just don't have time, or I don't have enough money.
But the fact that now in the last 10 minutes, we've added up all the this makes sense why people don't have relationships,
Right.
but there's more. Here's another one. the demise of the third space.
What's this?
The third space, church, clubs. Back in the day, Bowling Alone was written. I forget the guy's name. I should have written his name down. But his premise was that he was looking at research that showed that people were no longer bowling in leagues; they were bowling alone. And his point was that in the late 1900s and early 2000s, people were starting to move away from socialized activity to privatized activity, just doing their own thing on their own. And it has played out, and I saw it's played out in the church world, it's played out in clubs and participation in organizations. People are just not going to these third spaces. You know, there's work, home, and then the third space.
Right. That makes sense.
You know, there, except for maybe mega churches, the church in general is hemorrhaging people.
Sure.
So people are moving away from the third place again to a more individual approach to life. They're just not showing up.
They're not. And here's a thought. I have a thought for you. So, and I want to ask you, you know, as you think about the types of problems people have brought to you for counsel and for guidance.
You mean when I was a pastor?
When you were a pastor,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And probably still do today.
Yeah,
like,
when
you're
I'm
right. Like,
yeah,
no one's not going to, we're all going to still call you. You know, the subgroups, right? I mean, in California, you can find a restaurant that has food prepared by someone that's left-handed and has red hair and is gluten-free, right?
Niche, yeah.
Right, like so niche. And there will be a sizable group of people, right? Yeah. The idea of being in a large crowd means, again, because we're identity-centric, it means that you can't see or hear me. If I make a smaller group and make that a smaller group, now I can be seen and heard. And that's all what we want to do. And so my question to you is, do you feel like this creation of sub or micro communities and micro groups, this idea of leveraging the power that comes from marginalized aggregation, right?
Yeah.
Is there a power that's being extracted from that? Is there a value that you think is or,
oh, yeah.
You know, is that feeding into, you know, we have so many subgroups of subgroups. It's like, man, I didn't even know I offended you because, you know, I didn't know this was a thing.
So it could be a bad thing, could be a good thing. I'll tell you a good story in a minute. The bad thing is if I'm using it as my way to say who's in and who's out, which, let's be honest, right now that's happening all over the place. The level of hatred, discord, and so we're finding the groups with whom I feel the safest.
Right.
And so there's no honest conversation with people who differ from me or look different from me or act differently from me. So that's not a good thing in general for relationships. On the other hand, here's a story. This could be a good thing. Okay. So I did the Vitality Journey workshop, which is what we do for those of you listening. We offer coaching on the Vitality Journey. We cover these subjects. Every one of these episodes is a specific subject, whether it's emotional health, relational health, physical health. But we also offer this in a workshop form for groups, and we offer it individually, coach people on the Vitality Journey as well. At any rate, I did this for my son is the pastor of our church. So I did the Vitality Journey workshop for his staff and walked them through, helped them take a look at all the 6 health factors of their life. Anyway, he and I were just on vacation together, my son and I. And he told me, he said, Dad, you know, the one thing that I took away that really hit me was on the vitality scale, I rated myself a 3 out of 10 on my relational health. And he said, that's not good. So this subject was very poignant for him.
Sure.
So here's what he did. And I can't remember why he decided to do this. He formed a Dungeons and Dragons group of 4 or 5 guys. He's like, I don't know what it's called. The master, the one who tells the story. I don't really understand it. But they've been meeting now and around Dungeons and Dragons, to your point about identity, they've taken on individual identities within the game. And when he talked about it, he talked about with an energy that I haven't heard him talk about in a long time. And what he's telling me is he's establishing relationships in this very niche moment, but it's been important to him.
Right.
And he addressed it because he realized his relational health was not good.
Right.
So he's making taking steps. So the point is, I think the hyper, niche could be a bad thing if we're isolating ourselves.
Right.
It also could be a good thing if I'm finding my people.
Right. No, you're right. I mean, that's a beautiful example of it working correctly.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, it's like, well, I can't find anyone to agree with me, so I'm going to make these other two. I'm going to find a group of 3 people that do.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
have a group of 3, and
Yeah.
and we just we purport that we're right and this is correct. But again, it's this association with low risk, which is it's this identity that I'm associated with, and
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with too many people in real life.
Yeah. I'm going to throw out 2. This is somewhat. This is definitely philosophical, somewhat speculative. I'll bring out 2 other reasons, and then we'll move into the positive. Why I think relationships are at a low point in America. Number 1 is, by the very nature of America, we are a hyper-individualistic lot.
Man.
We value personal productivity. Watch this. We value personal productivity over presence.
Wow. You're
Getting my stuff done, doing what I need to do to be successful, regardless of the relationships around.
right.
And that's almost, it's American.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's funny you said that. I was actually taking some notes. I lived in Singapore for a bit. And in Singapore, you get what they call a parent credit. They actually give you $14K to take your parents in your home.
Really?
Instead of sending them to alternative care or letting them live on their own.
So the Singapore government does it.
Absolutely.
It's like a social welfare thing.
Yep, $14K for parents and up to $3K per parent for grandparents, and it's for each.
Yeah, a year.
Per year.
Wow.
Per year. It's a tax credit, right? So you can take advantage of that. To your point, the Western system is literally designed to separate the family.
Yeah.
We keep your kids over here, you go over there, mom over there, dad over there. No one does anything together anymore. Everything is so individualistic.
Well, yeah, and I think it comes from our ethos. I think somewhere along the way we were founded with this individualistic ethos,
which is quite contra to any other social. You look at again, Southeast Asia, African countries. I mean, the family unit. Like, you don't push your kid away because they turned 18. What do you mean? You stay home until you're married, until someone else takes your hand, then you go, right? Man, here it's like we can't wait for our kids to get out, and we wonder why they fail.
Yeah,
in all the ways.
So, and I got one more. This is even more controversial, maybe not controversial, but it's just more philosophical. We're building a case here. Why are the question is, if relationships are as crucial, if the Harvard study says it's the number 1 thing you could do to guarantee your happiness is to have cultivate warm relationships in your life.
Yeah.
And we're saying, the average American says, I got nobody.
Right.
There's a problem here.
Right.
And I'll throw out one more reason. And I'm not even sure, we need a psychologist to help us work through this.
Sure.
But the bottom line is, clearly people are delaying adulthood.
Yeah.
So they're delaying the kind of relationships, marriage and children, that would have been the norm 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So people are delaying adulthood. They're more individualistic, and they're not settling down into relationships.
Right. And I think it's because there's economy there, right? We capitalize on loneliness. When you look at, the porn industry, when you look at the gaming industry, these aren't, multiplayer games, but you're still in the house by yourself with a headset out playing with people online. Like, there's money to be made by keeping you separate.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
We monetize loneliness.
Yeah.
And we purport that there's value in, hey, if you stay alone and you do you and all that, you're going to be okay. And so you wind up either being a split family or broken family, or, you're in your mid-30s, mid-40s, and you can't seem to find your person or build a family, right?
Yeah.
Or sustain one in that.
Okay, let's turn the corner.
I think we figured out all the things.
why we're not doing relationships very well.
Yeah, but I think this was a good point though, because I think sometimes it's more subtle than we think, right? It's as simple as a game. It's as simple as, become a VP in this company first, and then you can A, B, C, D, F, G. I think these subtle messages that are being reinforced through social and economic and corporate context, that, I think, to understand that and identify that is going to be key for us to be able to say, okay, now how do we undo this? What's the antidote?
Well, and we're going to have to get to the point where my son did, where he evaluated his relational health.
Right.
And I hope anyone who's listening to this podcast is evaluating their relational health.
Right. Right.
You don't do anything. You won't make any moves until you're sick of how you are.
That's right. That's right.
I don't want to be this way anymore.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, if I had not had cultivated at least some good, deep relationships when I was in the ER, and I didn't know if I didn't know who my people, I would have been somewhat in despair.
Yeah. Yeah. If I just can share one thing.
Yeah.
Before I met you and we, became into each other's lives, man, I was the lone wolf.
Yeah.
Left the house at 14, straight, pure, unadulterated survival mode. Mm-hmm. There's no space for people. I can't. It's a vulnerability that I can't afford to, invest in. And
Some of that was self-protective.
Self-protective.
Yeah.
Right. But still almost a subconscious, unconscious thing that was happening.
Yeah.
And in that I'm lonely, no one will help me, I'm all alone, blah, blah, blah. But I'm creating, I built the wall. Meeting you and now cultivating I'm like, oh, this is what it looks like to have a nurturing, reciprocal, loving relationship. You got to give what you want. Right. And the quality of my life, though my economy may still have been subpar, right?
Yeah.
Everything else may have been a train wreck on fire. I got a friend now.
Yeah.
Man, the quality of my life inherently went up just because I now have a good friend. That's not based on my identity, because my identity is going to change and evolve. And I don't even know what I am in some points. And so to know that you're here for me as Dimitri, the person, regardless of what title, name, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to highlight, man, relational health is undervalued. You're almost unaware of it, right? Because again, I was in survival mode and by accident. And 40 years old, and I'm still don't have any friends. So I can't blame everyone else for being weird and not understanding me. We got to stop that. I'm accountable for who and what is in my world. And man, when I looked at that, I'm like, wow. And now I have contrast.
Yeah.
This is what a quality relationship looks like. And so I just want to say that and thank you also, right, for being that friend.
Well, and thank you, because you were one of the people that when I'm laying in the ER, you're one of the people I told first.
You did.
Because I needed you to know. I guess that's it. If a person's wondering, well, do I have that kind of relationship in my life? Here's a question I would say to you, whoever's listening right now.
Right.
If something went down with you, who would you want to know?
Right.
Like in your heart, you'd say, I really want them to know that I am where I am.
Right.
That'll tell you what kind of relationships you have.
It's true. Who would be upset if you didn't tell them?
And I would be upset if they didn't know.
Right.
Just see what I'm saying?
Yep.
There's something soulish going on that so I guess we're defining real relationships now versus deal relationships. Because we have lots of deal relationships are ones that are related to title or position or work or
exchange.
An exchange of some kind. You're on the soccer club with you're a soccer mom with other moms, or you're working for me, and a lot of people are listening to this who know me back in the day, so I'm not disparaging. I don't want to disparage the relationships I had. Deal relationships are not necessarily bad relationships.
Right.
Okay? They're just, because, the relationships I had with the people I worked with, we laughed, we had fun, we're very missional.
Sure.
We were on mission, we're going to do these things together, and there's something cool about rolling your sleeves up and getting to work on a thing, especially when it was a very spiritual task. But when that relationship was over and I don't have that title anymore, and now it's like some of those people I haven't, 2020.
Right. Yeah.
And what is it, 2026 now? It's been 6 years. I haven't had a word with them.
Right.
And it's because it was a deal relationship.
That's right. And one that as I said at the freshman side, I think this is where we have a relationship with the identity of the person.
Yes.
Even the example with the soccer moms. It's we're friends because all of our kids are in soccer. Well, after that, I don't, I'm good. My kids are out of soccer. They don't, and we'll never call this person again. It's not personal, but that's just a very temporal, identity-centric micro community that is only.
And you know what? I'm gonna throw some shade here on, I'll show myself. There are times when I've had a relationship and it's over because I don't need them anymore.
Right. That's the truth.
And this is really harsh. And they can't do anything for me anymore.
Right.
And so it's easy to walk away from that
It's just the truth.
relationship.
And to your point, that's also okay, right? I think that's also okay because it's a symbiotic. Clearly, there's a duality. Both can gain, and it's just for the span of what we're trying to accomplish. And thereafter, it's like, no, I'm not going to call you and check on you. And that it's not no shade, but it just is.
Yeah.
Think,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that plus having the balance of real relationships is what's key. If you just have a bunch of transactional or deal-centric relationships, you have a very shallow, superficial kind of well-being, right, in that regard.
Let's take a minute and check in. Ever catch yourself wondering, why am I here? What's my real purpose? At Destinyworks, we help you discover exactly that and bring it to life. Through personal coaching, group experiences, or our vitality journey, you'll explore what makes you thrive and create a life full of clarity, energy, and impact. Are you ready to step into your purpose and live fully? Head over to destiny-works.com and start your journey today. Now, back to the conversation.
One story stands out, and I know it's one of your favorite stories too. We've talked about this story from the Bible. Is the man who was paralyzed?
Yes.
And his foot. Tell a story. I love how you tell the story.
Yes. In the city of Capernaum, right?
Yeah.
And there's a man that was paralyzed. Is that how you say it?
I think it was Capernaum. I'm now going.
Oh yeah, I think it's Capernaum.
My
Yeah.
biblical knowledge is fading.
Yeah, right. But correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. But I think it's Capernaum. It's a city where Jesus was preaching, and everyone knew that he was coming and he's going to be there. And that, man, if you could just get to him, you could get healed. Well, these four friends had a fifth friend that was, again, paraplegic. He couldn't move, he wasn't healthy. And they committed to taking their friend to Jesus. They were like, you know what? We're going to take our friend to Jesus no matter what. They had to swim through the heat, crowds of people. They had to carry their paraplegic friend on an apparatus that in today's standard would be not okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then when they got there, they couldn't get through the door.
Because there's so many people.
Too many people. Everyone's crammed in, trying to touch, talk, engage with Jesus. And these friends were like, I don't care about none of that. They went to the roof. And then when so they're trying to raise, again, guys.
They had to carry him up the roof.
Up the roof. There's no cranes. There's no ropes. There's no safety latches.
Yeah.
And these roofs, I'm sure, aren't built to 2020 standards, right? It's like it's thatch, hay, mud, or whatever it is. Got this man up there without dropping him, without making his issues worse, and then had to break through all this is happening. And they had to get through the roof.
They did some civil disobedience.
Right? Break the roof in a way that doesn't make it so everyone falls through. And then the last task was to lower this man down. And here's what stands out to me more so about that is that these friends stayed on the roof while they lowered their friend down to Jesus.
Ooh, they didn't get to Jesus.
They didn't get to Jesus. Their mission was to get their friend to Jesus.
Wow.
My friend needs help. And we're going to stop. We can't go past this point. It's not for us. This is for my friend.
Wow.
And that's relational health, man.
That's real relationship.
That to me, and this is why that story, so I love that story. It themes our work, my work.
Yeah.
That to me, that's love. That's friends. That's us.
I love that. It's one of my favorite stories in Scripture. And that's when we're talking about real relationships. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Who are your four? Who are your people?
Who are your
four?
They're gonna take you. They're gonna carry you.
Yeah.
They're gonna carry you.
Let me talk about another. So one vital sign of relational health is real, not deal relationships. Another vital sign is this. I got this from David Brooks, who wrote a book, How to Really Know a Person. And it's this: if you want to develop relationships, illuminate, don't diminish. Okay? I'm going to read here's what he said in his book. The real act of building a friendship involves performing a series of small, concrete social actions well. Disagreeing without poisoning the relationship. Revealing vulnerability at the appropriate pace. Being a good listener. Knowing how to sit with someone who is suffering. These are what he calls the small, seem big to me, concrete social actions, and he calls that illumination. Versus, and if we illuminate people with these series of small concrete social actions, we will have real relationships.
Right.
So it's that difference between diminishing and illuminating. So when I read the book, right about the time I was reading the book, I had coffee with somebody. Here's how it went down, okay? Because I'm reading Brooks' book and I'm going, okay, that's what he's talking about. This is a diminisher. So I want to get to know this guy. So we had coffee, and we sit there, and he comes, sits down, and I said, hey, tell me about yourself. So he's talking about him, telling me about himself, where he's from, his family, about what he does. And he stopped talking. I sat there. Nothing. So I asked him another question. All right, so tell me, what, I forget, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? And he told me, and he went into detail about what he likes to do.
Starting to see how these roles are starting to come out.
And I'm sitting there,
Your line is.
nothing. And then I ask him another question, and he goes on and on and on, and we stop. And you know what I'm looking for?
Right.
And tell me about you.
Right, reciprocity, right. Right.
Nothing. But my favorite thing with air quotes, about that moment was we get done after my inquiry of him hasn't asked me one question about me. He gets up to leave, walks over to the door, turns around and says, let's do this again sometime.
Sure thing. But
like, what? Wait, what?
right.
How about no?
Right. How about hard no? But, that story, this is why people would rather be alone. How draining was that for you?
Oh, it was very draining.
And that was an hour of your time, hour and 30 minutes, and you had to drive there and back, and you just drove in the car, feeling like, what just happened?
Yeah. So that's what Brooks would call, that's a real illustration of a diminisher. Let me read you what he says, what Brooks says about diminishers. See if this makes sense. We can talk about these. He says, diminishers are socially ignorant, meaning they're oblivious to the presence of others. Think about that. Oblivious. You're sitting with a dude across the table from you,
right,
and you're oblivious to his presence.
Right.
That's a diminisher, socially ignorant.
Sure.
This one hit me. A diminisher makes people feel small and unseen. They render other people as unimportant. Ooh. Man.
Yeah, we know quite a bit of those, don't we?
Well, yeah, and so, but let me put the shoe on my foot. What have I done? What am I doing to render people seen?
Right. Yeah.
So that when they walk away from me, they feel seen. I don't think you could offer anybody. What more could you offer a person that would make them more alive than to be seen?
Right.
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 Here's another. Brooks calls a diminisher is a topper. They dominate conversations and turn everything back to themselves. Oh, I can top that.
It's all about
So you
them.
tell them something about yourself, and their rejoinder or their reaction to you is something about them.
Right.
That's
At a higher level, a bigger, higher level.
Clearly at a higher level than mine, right?
Right.
Here's another thing. Diminishers are socially naive. They think the way they view the world is the objective view.
Man, how errant is that?
Okay, so this is adding up, all right?
Yeah.
They're conceited.
Yeah.
I'm more interesting and important than other people. They're prejudiced. They're always generalizing, stereotyping people. And this one hit me. The diminishers are, this is like the secret, what's going on below the surface. They're always afraid.
Yeah.
They're worried what people think of them.
Man, confession. So as you were going through that list just now, I was thinking, and I prefaced and said that I was a survivor. Man, when you're in survival mode, you don't have emotional bandwidth to care, to see. So I'm wondering, as you were saying, I'm like, wow, how, by accident, right? Not a conscious, I'm going to just be like this, but by virtue, I start to own it. Like, man, how have I presented to people? Because I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to get to the next step.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to live. I know you don't know that, but man, it makes them feel some kind of way, because my problem right now is the biggest thing and the most important thing that I have to solve at this moment.
Yeah, I don't think people become diminishers because they're just, I guess there are some people that are narcissists.
Sure.
They've got psychological imbalance. They're narcissistic. But I don't think the average person is a diminisher because they're narcissistic.
Right.
I think they're a diminisher because they're afraid.
I would even add, it's even a trauma response.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The trauma
so
response, yeah.
I the trauma of being on my own since 14, crimey river, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now I'm this way. Now I still have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Right. I still have to be accountable to how I'm treating others
Yeah.
and myself. But yeah, it's just a trauma response.
Yeah. Let me flip it. Let's get to the positive because he describes an illuminator.
Okay.
Okay. And again, Brooks suggests if you want real relationships, the ones that, and by the way, let's go back to the Harvard study. If you want real relationships that are the source of your happiness, you have to be an illuminator, starting with this. You have to always be curious about others. And I think being curious about others means you're, watch this, skilled in asking follow-up questions.
Right. Right.
You ask a person a question, and I've got a friend who taught me this. Jim, I hope you're watching or listening, Jim Henderson.
Oh, he's great. I love Jim.
Jim's a wonderful
Yes,
guy.
I love Jim.
But he says one of the key practices we need to practice is showing a level of curiosity that's over and above. Okay. Matter of fact, he says there's a key. He's taught me a key phrase that I think is important if you're going to have a relationship with someone. Say this: I'd be curious to know.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
I'd be curious to know. At any rate, so you ask that question to somebody and they give you an answer. If you're an illuminator, you don't go on to you yet.
Right.
You ask a follow-up question.
Right. Right.
The average person is not skilled in follow-up questions. You want to get real skilled? Ask 2 follow-up questions.
Ooh, you're cooking with fire now.
You go down that road with a person. I guarantee you got a friend for life.
It's true. There's actually something out on social media floating around I think it's called the bird test.
What's that?
And it's simply saying, it's like you'll be with Penny or I'll be with Ashley, and you say, hey, I saw a bird. I saw a bird today. And the person's response, oh, I saw a bird too, would be a diminisher. Or, oh, you saw a bird? What color was it?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Or tell me how to make you feel.
Yeah,
or,
you saw, like, what kind of bird was it?
Yeah,
What-
yeah.
Like, so that, and they said that, and this was actually I wish I would have brought this to this conversation. It was a doctor, it's a study that he performed. And based on their responses, it tells you if you have a quality relationship with that individual or not.
Interesting.
And it's been floating around.
Yeah, so that's the whole
Same
point.
thing, yeah. Yeah.
Asking follow-up questions. Here's another thing he says. This is related to it. When you will have good relationships if you learn how to pay attention to others with a posture of respect and dignity. Give people respect and dignity.
Right.
He said, you'll be an illuminator if you accept people as, oh, I love this. If you stop seeing people as a problem to solve.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Man.
Stop seeing people as a problem to solve.
Right. Wow.
Illuminator sees people as they are. Here's another thing. They're open-hearted, kind, genuine, warm, tender, obviously. And I love this. He said, illuminators are accompanists, meaning they see themselves in a humble, supportive role to the other people in their life. How can the phrase we say it in the church a lot, come alongside somebody.
Right, right.
Be an accompanist. And then the last thing I'll say is illuminators know how to use the I see in you. In other words, can I tell you what I see in you?
Yeah.
Even if it's something small. Or I love it when you do this. Or I so appreciate when you...
Right.
This is the beauty of an illuminator.
Man. And man, that starts at parents and children. And if you are a diminishing parent and you speak to your child that way, or vice versa, the type of adult you'll groom or grow will be that of a self-centered, narcissistic, traded individual, or someone that is selfless and giving and loving. That starts with just that. And I mean, we've had parents and we know parents, and there have been times even myself, I know I've not been illuminated anything of my child. It's quite the diminisher, right? And it just, that reading this and hearing that list is like, okay, here's how I can be better at being that, because I want to be a light.
Yeah.
I want to be a light.
So there's this altruistic part of us that we want to love other people and care for people, and we should. And it's the way our culture is going to change if we can learn to illuminate and not diminish, right?
Yeah, right, right.
But I'm going to be a broken record and say, and if you want real relationships with people who illuminate you,
You got to illuminate.
you got to illuminate.
There's the saying goes, you will get what you give.
That's right.
I mean, it's just like, so if you want something, if you want it back, you got to give it.
That's right.
And you got to give it first.
Yeah. I love what Brooks says. He says, when you're practicing illuminationism, I guess he made that word up.
Check Webster's. I love it.
When you're practicing illuminationism, you are offering a gaze that says, I want to get to know you and be known by you. And he said, it's a gaze that radiates respect.
Man.
When's the last time you sat across from somebody and looked in their face?
Right.
Offered a gaze that said, I want to know you and I want to be known by you.
Right.
That's a real
It
relationship.
goes back to what you said. I mean, we just want to be seen. We're all 8-year-old children stuck in adult bodies, right? We just want to play and be seen and be loved and be special. That's it. And man, how far off track have we gotten?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I love this. I love this. So I got a question. I mean, we just went through a lot. We went through all the how we got here and how crappy it is, right, to be alone, and how the degradation of togetherness, all that. How do we become illuminators? What questions can we ask ourselves? What postures can we take? We know that love is not just a word; it's an action, as the doctor said, right? What can we do in our daily lives to start exercising some of this?
Well, one thing that somebody, I don't know who's told me this years ago, that I thought was really good. If we're going to learn to love people and illuminate them, we got to love them accurately, meaning not everybody wants to be loved the same way.
Right.
Or no, let me say it. Not everyone feels loved
Sure.
in the same way. There's the 5 love languages. See, some people know their love when they're touched. Some people know their love when you offer them words of encouragement. Some people know their love when you serve them in some way. Some people know they're loved or feel their love when you give them your time. And then there are people who respond to gifts.
Right.
So the 5 love languages. But the only way to be able to love somebody accurately with and to know that, okay, Dimitri, I'm just making this up.
Sure.
I'd be curious to know what your love language is, but if I know that Dimitri knows he's loved when you say words of affirmation to him, then I shouldn't be wasting my time bringing him gifts.
Right. So
I should be finding ways to build him up with what I say, and vice versa. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And if I may, this is to the audience. Man, there's been a lot of confusion on the love languages. People read that book thinking, oh, I know my love language. It's for you to know how to love the other person in their love language. Just a footnote, guys. I think I've had some friction-laden conversations. I'm like, no, it's to help you understand how they want to receive it, right?
Yeah, and that can be uncomfortable.
Right.
This is an illuminator says, I know you want to be touched. That's not my deal, but I will touch you. I'll put my arm around you. I will. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
I will go out of my. I'll go out of my way to buy you the gift. I'll stop. I'll figure out what gift you want, and I'll go do it, even though that's not me.
That's right.
So loving accurately means how does that person want to be loved, and loving them. Boy, if you want to get more sophisticated, I think one of my favorite personality tests, the Enneagram, and there are plenty of personality tests, but when you realize. I mean, one of the things that transformed my wife and I, when we first met each other, we thought we were just alike. Oh, we like the same things. We're just, And then we realized we went to a workshop where he introduced different personalities, and we looked at each other after the workshop. I'm like, who are you? We realized
you know who I thought I was.
we're completely different, and so I know. That and I'm not great at this. I know that she's going to want to be loved in a specific way that maybe is not the way I want to be loved.
Sure.
So the idea is if we're going to be illuminators, we have to be, again, here's the broken record again. If I want real relationships, I got to give real relationships.
That's right.
If I want real love, I got to give real love. If I want friends, I got to be a friend. If I want somebody to be there when I'm hurting, I got to be there when they're hurting.
Yeah. Something you touched on, I think Dr. Brooks said, I think you just read it, was give critique. It was basically like give critique, not all at once.
Oh, right.
Don't criticize all at once. Man, that don't give me a list of all the ways I'm being not good right now all at once, man. Spread it out. Give me a second. One item at a time. I only can fix one thing at a time.
And again, that's loving accurately.
But that's it starts with just those subtleties, though. I mean, if you can't figure out the best gift, you don't have an hour to go stop it. You know, but you can just not critique all at once, or make it, soften that critique. Man, that's beautiful, beautiful.
So I hope that anyone watching or listening realizes I got some work to do. I got to become an illuminator.
So as a recap, so the questions to ask oneself are, hey, am I a diminisher or an illuminator, since we kind of have identified those? 2, inside of, and after you pick that, it's like, okay, what can I do to present the antidote? If I'm a diminisher, how can I undo some of those? I think some of those you just mentioned are kind of just Enneagram test or personality test is a great way. The 5 love languages is a great start. And again, for you to learn how to love the other person, how they want to be loved. And what Dr. Brooks said, just being patient, being kind, and just showing up. Yeah. It sounds like, right?
Absolutely. As always, we encourage you to like and subscribe. We'd love to have more subscribers and share with others the vitality journey. Hope this has been enlightening when it comes to relationships, and I'm going to wrap it up with a blessing. How's that?
Sounds great.
Okay. So may the spirit of love move through your relationships. May your words carry truth and your listening carry grace. May hearts remain soft even when conversations are hard, and humility open doors where pride once stood. May you see the sacred in each other, honoring both difference and dignity. May forgiveness come before resentment, and peace grow deeper than conflict. And may every bond you hold become a healing place for all who enter it. See you next time on the Vitality Journey.